Alright, today we're going to be continuing fractions, but now we're looking at fractions in a little different way. And as we looked in the first two lessons, we looked at, of course, what is a fraction, that a fraction is a part of a whole. And we also looked at some examples of fractions. We looked at the names of the parts of fractions. And so we're going to continue to look at that, but we're going to look at it in a different way. So we're looking at our essential question. Our essential question is, how can you write a fraction to name a part of a set? And so this is what's going to be a little different. What's going to be different is that we're looking at a set of objects. And we've done a little bit this with multiplication and division, but now we're going to take a set of objects and we're going to look at how a fraction can be written using a set of objects. So let's review quickly what we've done so far. We've looked at a model, a fraction model, which is a picture. We have a whole unit, one whole rectangle or one whole square. We have divided it into two equal parts, and we have divided it into two equal parts using a line, and we've shaded in one of them, and so this picture represents the fraction. It's kind of hard to see with the glare. The fraction 1 over 2, we say that 1/2 is how you would say it. The 1 is called the numerator, that's the number on top. The number on bottom is the denominator. Okay, we have two parts, we have one that we've shaded. And so now we're going to look at it a little differently. So now we're going to look at a different fraction. Now we're going to look at the fraction 5/8. And this is not a new fraction. This is the same numbers. We still have a numerator on top. We have a denominator on bottom. But now we have a set of objects. And so up here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 objects. And so I want you to think about how could you show this fraction using a set of objects. I want you to think about that for a few seconds. Pause the video if you need to think about what would you do to show this fraction using this object. Hopefully you were able to see that there's 8 counters. And so if we were to show 5, we're going to be shading, just like we had the number 1, that we shaded this fraction. We shaded one part of the total 2, which is our denominator, 2 total parts, one of them that were shaded. Now we have 8 parts. And so how many, if this is our denominator, this is the total parts, total number, and this would be the number shaded. So how many of these 8 are we going to shade? How many do you think? If you said 5, you're right. We're going to shade 5 of these objects. And so this, when we shade 5 objects, this shows the fraction 5/8, because we have shaded, there's a total of 8 of them. This is a set of objects. Going back to our question, this is a set of objects. We've shaded a total of 5. Now let's try one on your own. Let's say I wanted to do 8 more objects, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's say I shade in this many. What fraction does this represent? What's that fraction? What number goes on top? What number goes on bottom? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total, and I have 1 shaded. So what's that fraction? Okay, so let's look at the bottom number. What's the bottom number going to be? If you said 8, you're right. There's 8 total parts. Total number, we had 8 up here. Total number of parts up here, we have 2. So how many are shaded? What's going to be my top number? My top number is going to be, if you said 2, you're wrong. Tricked you there, didn't I? It's not 2. It's 7. Tricked you again, it's not 7. How many do I have shaded? I have 1. 1 out of those 8 are shaded. And how would you say this fraction? You would say this fraction 1/8. So you have the number 8, and then you just add an H to the end of it to give it that th sound, 1/8. And so how would you say this one? 5/8. You have a THS because you have more than one. Here we just had 1, so it's just 1/8. We have more than one, we have 5/8. So this is how you write a fraction to name a part of a set of objects.